The most important hydration trick on Earth is not hiding in a neon bottle. It is not locked behind a brand name. It is not some expensive powder with a lightning bolt on the label. And no, it is not a magical root that instantly fixes dehydration the second it touches your tongue. But there is a cheap, overlooked hydration principle that most people still misunderstand. And once you understand it, you will never look at dehydration the same way again. Because the real trick is not just drinking more. The real trick is helping your body hold on to what you drink. That is the part the average person misses. You can drink a huge glass of water and still feel weak, dry-mouthed, foggy, and drained. You can chug a bright blue sports drink and still feel like your body did not really absorb what it needed. And you can spend a ridiculous amount of money on hydration packets without understanding the simple mechanism they are all trying to copy. The forgotten idea is this: water does not work alone when your body has lost electrolytes. Water needs partners. It needs sodium. It needs the right amount of glucose. And for some people, especially when their stomach feels unsettled, a small amount of ginger root may make that drink easier to tolerate. But listen carefully. Ginger is not the cure for dehydration. No root is. The useful part is the rehydration formula. The root is just the supporting character. And that difference matters. Here's the part nobody explains when they tell you to just drink more water. When you sweat heavily, have diarrhea, vomit, spend hours in the heat, or push your body hard, you are not only losing water, you are losing salts. You are losing fluid balance. You are changing the conditions your cells need to function properly. That is why dehydration can feel so strange. It is not just thirst. It can feel like a headache that creeps behind your eyes. It can feel like your muscles are heavy, your thoughts are slow, your mouth is dry, and your energy has been unplugged from the wall. And this is where the first mistake happens. People reach for plain water and drink as much as they can. Sometimes that is enough. If you are mildly thirsty after a normal day, water may be exactly what you need. But when fluid loss is bigger, plain water can be incomplete. Your body may need electrolytes too. That is why oral rehydration solutions exist. They are not trendy. They are not glamorous. They are not designed to look cool in a gym bag. They are designed around biology. The strange thing is, the principle is so simple that people ignore it. A little salt, a little sugar, clean water, the right proportions, slow sipping. That can be more intelligent than randomly chugging bottle after bottle of plain water and hoping your body figures it out. Your body has a tiny doorway in the gut, and it opens best when two things arrive together: sodium and glucose. This is the part I wish every person learned in school. Inside your small intestine, there are transport systems that help pull sodium and glucose across the intestinal wall. Water follows that movement. So when sodium and glucose arrive in the right balance, fluid absorption can become more effective. That is the genius behind oral rehydration therapy. Not sugar because sugar is energy, not salt because salt is savory. It is the combination. This is also why dumping random amounts of salt into water is not smart. Too much salt can make things worse. Too much sugar can also backfire, especially if your stomach is already upset. The ratio matters. And this is where many homemade internet recipes become risky. Someone says, just add a pinch of salt. Someone else says, use honey. Someone else says, throw in lemon, cayenne, vinegar, sea moss, mineral drops, and this ancient root. And by the end, you do not have a hydration drink. You have a kitchen experiment. Hydration is not supposed to be a dare. It is supposed to be precise enough to help and simple enough to repeat. So when you hear people say this root stops dehydration instantly, be skeptical. That kind of wording is designed to grab attention, not protect your health. The useful question is not which secret root beats Gatorade. The useful question is, what does the body actually need to absorb fluid again? And the answer is much less dramatic, but much more powerful. Clean water, sodium, a small amount of sugar, steady intake, and awareness of when dehydration is serious enough that home care is not enough. Now let's talk about the root, because this is where the internet usually goes off the rails. The root I would use for this kind of recipe is ginger root. Not because it is banned, not because it is magical, not because sports drink companies are shaking in a boardroom somewhere, but because ginger is cheap, easy to find, and for many people, its flavor makes a simple rehydration drink easier to sip slowly. That matters more than it sounds. When someone feels overheated, queasy, or drained, plain salted water can be unpleasant. If the drink tastes bad, they may not drink it. And if they do not drink it, the formula does not matter. So ginger's role here is practical. It can add flavor. It can add warmth. It can make the drink feel less clinical. Some people also associate ginger with stomach comfort, though you should not treat it as a substitute for medical care. And there are people who should be careful with ginger, especially if they have medical conditions, take certain medications, are pregnant, or have been told to limit specific foods or supplements. So again, the root is optional. The formula is the important part. The root is not the engine. It is the paint on the car. Here is the version I would actually trust enough to explain to someone I care about. Start with clean water. If you are unsure about the water quality, boil it first and let it cool. Use 1 liter of water. Add 6 level teaspoons of sugar. Add half a level teaspoon of salt. Stir until completely dissolved. The key words are level teaspoons. Not heaping, not whatever looks right, level. If you want the ginger version, take a few thin slices of fresh ginger root and steep them in a small amount of hot water for several minutes. Let that ginger water cool, then use it as part of your 1 liter of total liquid. Do not make it extremely strong. Do not add a pile of extra ingredients. Do not turn this into a wellness potion. Keep it simple. Water, sugar, salt, optional mild ginger flavor. That is it. Now sip it. Do not slam the whole thing. Small, steady sips are usually easier on the stomach, especially if nausea is involved. If someone has been vomiting, tiny amounts taken frequently may be better tolerated than big gulps. And this part is important. Homemade oral rehydration solution is not meant to replace emergency care. If there are signs of severe dehydration, confusion, fainting, inability to keep fluids down, very little urination, extreme weakness, bloody diarrhea, persistent vomiting, symptoms in an infant, or symptoms in an older adult or medically fragile person, that is not a try a root situation. That is a get help situation. The strongest people I know are not the ones who pretend everything is fine. They are the ones who know when to act. Gatorade is not useless, and it is not magic. Sports drinks were designed for a specific purpose, replacing some fluid, carbohydrate, and electrolytes during athletic activity. For many healthy people doing normal exercise, they can be perfectly fine, but they are not identical to medical oral rehydration solutions. Some sports drinks have more sugar than you may need for dehydration related to illness. Some may be diluted for certain situations. And if you are dealing with vomiting or diarrhea, a proper oral rehydration solution is usually the more targeted tool. So the point is not never drink sports drinks. The point is, understand what problem you are solving. If you are thirsty after a workout, a sports drink may be fine. If you are losing fluids from illness, heat, or repeated sweating, you may need a more careful electrolyte balance. And if dehydration is severe, you may need medical attention. That is the real hierarchy. Not brand loyalty, not internet drama, not miracle roots. Biology. Before you mix anything, there are a few lines you do not cross. Do not oversalt the drink. Do not make it sweeter because you think more sugar means more hydration. Do not use dirty water. Do not give homemade remedies to infants without medical guidance. Do not ignore serious symptoms. And do not let a dramatic title convince you that one cheap ingredient can replace common sense. The overlooked secret is not that a root was banned. The overlooked secret is that the body absorbs fluid best when the formula respects how the body works. That is the kind of forgotten knowledge worth bringing back. Simple, cheap, practical, not flashy. And maybe that is why it gets ignored. If this helped you see hydration differently, subscribe for more overlooked health and survival basics without the hype, without the fear, and without the nonsense. Because sometimes the most powerful thing is not hidden. It is just sitting in plain sight, waiting for someone to explain it correctly.